What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we are going to be reviewing Resident Evil 4 Remake. Basically retells the story of Resident Evil 4, in which Special Agent Leon Kennedy is on a mission to this rural area in Spain, attempting to rescue the U.S. President's daughter, Ashley Graham, from this mysterious cult who's kidnapped her. And this is definitely one of the absolute best remakes. When we talk about remaking a game, this is definitely where you need to go. Now, the story basically is the same, although there are some things and sequences that are changed. And there's a lot of good and positive that goes with that. We get to explore more with the individual characters, including the villains. We get to see more of it. Not as many interactions between them like we did in the original game, but we do get to see more of them get fleshed out, and it does help feed into the story. The story goes at a pretty good pace, and one of the aspects that I like about it as well is you get to see little tidbits that dive more into the past and learn more about what went on in this town before it got taken over, when it was being taken over. Get to learn more about the characters before everything goes to hell in this town. I like reading up the little journals and the little journal entries, see the pictures, basically just feeding and diving more into this world, letting us know what this town is, the life it had before everything happened. And I really do appreciate that. That's really good tidbits that I believe that deserve to be in games like this, especially horror. But not only that, we're going into the characters. Most of the characters are the same, although they are redone in certain aspects. I will say that Sadler does take a bit more of a back seat in this game, and it's kind of portrayed more as the architect behind all of the scheming rather than him being announced early like he was in the original. But that's not a bad thing, because we get to see more of Krauser, we get to see more of Salazar, we get to see a Chief Mendez, and I think that does work because it does push them to the forefront, especially in their respective areas, and it just completely works. We get to see more from Lewis, we get to see more from Ada, we get to see a lot more from Ashley, we get to really dive into these characters, and it just ultimately it works. So in terms of the plot, you're gonna get the same thing, but it's definitely gonna add a lot of bang for your buck. Gameplay wise, it is similar to Resident Evil 4. Mechanics are tweaked a bit better, they're a bit more refined. Enemies are a bit more diverse with their attacks, how to dodge and things like that. But the biggest element to the game that I think works is the new knife mechanics. I mean, there were knife mechanics in the original game, but in this one I think they focus a bit more on it, such as counter attacks, which if you're one of those guys that can play this game with just the knife itself and just kick ass, hats off to you, because I was having trouble. But if you can master the counter, you can do a lot of really good damage and do a lot of harm to these bad guys just running up on you. So even some of the more powerful boss-like characters just learning how to counter, but you gotta watch out, because using a knife, you have to keep fixing it, because every time you use it, it damages, it breaks. And I think that's an interesting mechanic. Of course, you got your resources, you got your weapons and items, and you got to figure out what you need and what you don't need. And I think that is the best medicine when it comes to being a Resident Evil game, having that resource management while kicking ass. And you definitely can do that. The Merchant comes back, although not quite the same guy that voiced it. I don't think so. He's still pretty awesome, and I still really enjoy watching him in the game. And it just works ultimately. Enemy types definitely there. They're a bit smarter as well, and I like that they seem to coordinate a little bit better. The AI. I think that's the best way of saying it. The coordination of the AI does work. The Las Plagas this time around they function a lot differently, a little bit more differently, and they're a lot more physical than they were in the original game. So they are much more bigger threat in this game, and ultimately, it definitely works. The gameplay is on point. Right now, I'm going through my third playthrough on hard mode, getting my butt kicked. Definitely getting my butt kicked, but still very fun and challenging experience. Um, when we look at the visual production side of it, the visuals are just absolutely amazing. The cutscenes, the in-game graphics, everything just looks great. It still has that really gritty and just like toned look to it that looks disgusting. You got a pile of trash, you got a pot full of meat, just ugh. But it looks really, really good. I like the character designs, I like the redesigns, I like the enemy designs, the creature designs, just everything in this game looks good. The voice performances are really good as well. I know there was this big thing that was going on with the actress that voiced Ada Wong. I like it because I think that's how Ada acts. Ada is a very selfish person, and she's a very confident person, and then all of this stuff that's going on is much like how you look at Leon in all of these sequences and he remains cool and level-headed. When you look at Ada, she remains amused and bored, and I think that she does nail that in this. But the voice performances across the board are really, really good. I do like the musical composition. The score is actually really, really good. There are a lot of really cool, intense sequences in this game, and the music does definitely feed into it. And I will say, DLC wise, bam, they did a fantastic job with the DLC. Again, they feature the separate ways that tells what's going on behind Leon's story, but they managed to remodel it a bit. And there's a big example of me saying there are certain in the original game, if you look at it, there are certain story beats that are taken from the main core game in this one and added to the separate ways. And I like seeing a different interpretation of how they're telling the story while remaining true to the original game's story. So Resident Evil 4 is just absolutely, the remake is actually really, really good. I like how they took certain aspects and they've expanded on them greatly. Probably one of my favorite moments in the game is the part where you're underground and you're fighting those bug creatures, but the way they attack kind of in the water is actually really, really cool. And I actually like the Verdugo fight, and I'm just happy. I just really enjoyed this game. Really, the only problem that I had, again, is probably the mechanics around Ashley. Again, although the character, we dive more into her character in the story, and she gets to be explored more, she really, again, feels pretty useless. When there's a battle going on, she's in the way. And yes, one shot, you could be in the middle of a shootout and then turn around, shoot her in the face, she's gone. She's dead, you got to start over. That does get annoying. Again, I would like to see her do more proactive things. Hey, I'm running out, and you see me shooting, go grab some ammo. Hey, you see I get hit, go grab a herb, something. Help me out. And also, one thing I forgot to mention, the mercenaries. The mercenaries is freaking awesome. I love the challenger mercenaries. I think it's a really good addition to the game. But having said that, this game definitely has the atmosphere. It definitely cranks up everything that I loved about the original Resident Evil 4, and it definitely refines it and fine-tunes it for just the most challenging of players, such as myself. But having said that, Resident Evil 4 Remake definitely deserves 5 out of 5. In the comment section below, guys, let me know what are your thoughts about Resident Evil 4 Remake. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Which one do you think is better, the original or the remake? What are some things that you would have liked to see them keep from the original in the remake, and vice versa, if that's a thing? But anyways, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And remember, Capcom, I don't like the fact that all you doing is doing remakes, but this one, y'all hit.